Hey everyone, welcome to the conversation. I appreciate you tuning in. Today, we welcome back a true friend of the show, and she's got a lot going on. I mean, a lot going on, and I'm hoping to talk with her right now about as much of it as we possibly can. So please welcome back to the conversation, Kelly Lang. Kelly, welcome back.
Thank you. Man, it has been a busy week and so glad to be here with you.
Well, it is absolutely my pleasure, Kelly. Every time, whether it's you or you and TG, it's always a conversation I'll never forget and looking forward to another great one right now. In fact, as I was preparing for our conversation today, I was thinking about the last time we talked, and it was late last year. You and TG, we talked about the holidays and Tender Tennessee Christmas and that great song and music video that you put out. And you said something at that point about some things that might be in the works. And then here we are, fast forward. You've had a lot going on since the turn of the year, haven't you?
Oh my God. It was going on then behind the scenes, kind of underground. And we would record a Christmas song. Then I would record two songs for this album. And then we'd record a Christmas song. Then I would like record one song it was just, it was in tandem. And I really couldn't talk about this project so much because it was too premature, but I'm so excited to announce that I have a new album coming out July 17th called Jealous Green Eyes. And Jealous Green Eyes is a song that I wrote when I was 17 years old, which was 2 weeks ago, So it fast forward, it's self-penned. This whole album is, like an autobiography of my whole entire life. And it's through the years, songs that I've just either written and left in the vault and never brought forward. Some of them I've re-recorded through the years, just because I felt that it needed a better, more modern, fuller sound,
Hmm.
and some are newly written that nobody's ever heard before. So it's been quite a feat, and it's a lot when you're writing, producing, creating the videos, being in the video. There's a lot too behind the scenes that goes on that takes up a lot of mental space and spinning a lot of different wheels. And I love it. I love being very fulfilled and feeling, like I've accomplished something, but it is the older I get, the more it is taking a toll. And I'm not sure if I will do this particular big of project next. I'll probably do EPs here or there, but to do a full album is quite an undertaking.
It absolutely is. And one of the things that jumped out at me, Kelly, especially as you were just talking about, the songs and some of the history, if you will, of these songs, how difficult was it just to sort of navigate through picking the songs that were going to make it on the album?
That's the thing. I'm the type of person when I go into what used to be a video store, I would walk in and I would get overwhelmed with too many titles and I would leave. So for me to narrow down all of the songs in my catalog to 11, it was quite a chore. I sat here at the kitchen table with TG night after night, and we would go through, does that song match up? Does that song and what it ended up being is this particular album is, I would say, more of a adult contemporary or PG-13, if you will. A little bit more adult content in this. So some of the songs made it to this album that didn't make it on Dragonfly, which was more of a spiritual album.
Mhm.
Some of those songs wouldn't have fit this one. So that was a way of narrowing it down. And when I went back, my mom passed a year and a half ago, and I was going through some of her old things, and I ran across Jealous Green Eyes, which is the song that I wrote when I was 17. And I thought, she always loved that song. I haven't heard that in a long time. So I just randomly put it in and I thought, huh, that would fit this album. And I've never recorded it before and nobody's ever heard it. So that got me thinking and got my wheels spinning. And in 1986, believe it or not, I had a t-shirt that was done with just my eyes on the front of the shirt. And my brother was a creative artist at a t-shirt company, so he designed this. So it's kind of like a full circle moment for me because the album will have my eyes on it, and it's kind of like a completion of my career, if you
Wow.
will. It's a very strange thing to be able to revisit that.
Wow, that's amazing. And like you said, kind of full circle, coming full circle like that really is incredible. And I have to say, the first couple of singles off the album and the videos, like I Reach for Red, I've learned was not a red pen. I figured that part out. But that was great song, great video. And Hollywood, again, there's kind of the the PG-13,
Yeah.
aspect of it, as you mentioned. And
Yeah.
then here today, May 29th, the next single drops, This Too Shall Pass. So what can you tell us about this song?
This Too Shall Pass is the most current song that I've written for the project. And it's, it's a song for everyone. It's a song for the human race because it talks about just that. If you're having a really dark or blue day, this too shall pass. Just hang on, just one more day. If you just give yourself just one more day, tomorrow may be brighter. But the thing I really like about this song is I also incorporated in the second verse that those good times that we need to cherish more often, and we need to acknowledge who we love stronger, and make sure and seize the moment because these two shall pass too.
Hmm.
And when I wrote this song, I literally sat at the piano and bawled my eyes out. So I know when I am
Wow.
moved by something that I'm writing that there's something to this. And I will tell you, I told TG about it when I picked him up at the airport. I'm like, T, I've been writing this song. For some reason, I'm really emotional about this. And when he heard my idea, he was like, yeah, that's nice. Okay, okay. Well, I take him to the studio and I'm, telling the engineer what I'm hearing and what I want to play and blah, blah, blah. And we got to the chorus part, and I look over, and TG is crying. I thought,
Wow.
okay. So I'm noticing that a lot of men that hear this song in particular are very emotional about it, even more so than women. Because I think it hits a part in the heart where you think, I've got to stay strong. I've got to, keep going, and I don't have time to break. But we all hit our
Hmm.
breaking point, and we all hit a
Hmm.
place where we need somebody to encourage us to go, just hang on one more day, Um, and there's so many things in my life, and this is going to sound like I'm bragging. I'm not. It's just that I love my life so much. I cherish it so, so much. And I don't want those good days to go by without acknowledging them.
Hmm.
And that's the part that made me the most sad because those seem to go faster and faster, and the harder days seem to be longer,
Yeah.
so it's just that how I think. I'm very grateful for good days, and I just want to cling to them so badly, and I wanted to get that out in the song, and hopefully the listener will be able to pick up on that and be encouraged by it.
Yeah, I can't help but think, having listened to it, myself, I can't help but think that they will. And again, that song is available wherever you get your music today, just dropping May 29th. So that's now the third single off the album, right?
Yes. It was I Reached for Red, then
Yeah.
Hollywood, and
Okay.
now This Too Shall Pass. We will have one more single come out before the album comes out July 17th. And maybe we can circle back around and talk about that when we get closer.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, because I also know there's a song that's going to be on there that's kind of an answer back to a song from a long time ago
Yes.
that
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about it
uh,
now because I'm excited about it. I wrote it a while back with a guy named Mark Oliverius, and I was just telling him, I get interviewed a lot, and the interviews generally go back to, don't you just hate hearing about how many lovers TG had, loved them everyone, and all that. I'm like, yes, yes, I do, because it's just a song, people, And so I thought, how can I rebut that? Well, I can write a song about it. So there's a song coming up. It's called Never Met a Man I Didn't Love. And it is so funny. And it's just a tongue in cheek, kind of an answer to that. And it's super fun to perform. So I'll be doing that at an upcoming show, Country for a Cause, that we're doing. And it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to debuting that.
Oh, so that now we just talked about today being May 29th and the release of This Too Shall Pass. So let's just fast forward a couple of days. The following Wednesday, Country for a Cause. So, and I know this isn't your first time, but so you'll be debuting the song there at that great event?
Well, let me say, I have performed it two other times, so debuting it
Oh,
with a particular
okay.
group. But I
Okay.
did it on the Jimmy Bowen show, which would be coming up soon. You'll be able to see that on TV.
Okay.
And I did a show here recently just to kind of dip my foot in the water to see what the reaction would be. And it's quite funny. The women are screaming, they're loving this. And the men are going, oh, really? Because it's kind of a joke about that. But it's going to be fun. I'm going to do that one. And I Reach for Red on Country for a Cause. TG and I, my husband, and for your viewing yeah, audience, is TG Shepherd. He's a country artist, and he and I get to perform a lot together. Luckily, we love to do that. But we also have hosted this Country for a Cause for 12 years now. And under the direction of Scott Sexton and a large group of people, I can't take the credit, obviously, but um, we've been able to raise close to a little over $300,000 so far for the Children's Hospital here in Vanderbilt. And it's just such a lovely thing to be able to go to the hospital and meet these children and meet the families and see, they just need a bright spot and to be just that for them is just it's very honoring to us and um, such a blessing.
Well, and Kelly, I have to say real quick, you mentioned Scott Sexton, and I've been doing this show for 8 years and hundreds of episodes and hundreds of great conversations. And in his capacity as a publicist and now out on his own, I have never worked with anyone who's more professional, more responsive, just a wonderful person. And one of the cool things I think about Country for a Cause, when I look at the lineup every year, it's a great cause. Scott's great. Everybody in the lineup, like it is just great after great for a great cause. It just doesn't get any better. And one of these days, I got to get my butt down there in June to see it because I think most of the people performing have been on the show, and I love every one of them.
Well, it's kind of funny because the show, very similar to the Grand Ole Opry, is backstage. That's where the fun part is because we don't get to see one another very often, us in the industry. We in passing or doing a show together, perhaps, but it's a great night for us to catch up and hang out backstage. Sometimes I forget I'm actually hosting, so I've got to hurry and run after a conversation, but. It's just this year we've got like Mo Bandy and Linda Davis and the Malpass brothers, Ty Hundren, Neil McCoy. It's just the list goes on. It's going to be a huge long night, and there's surprises. Scott won't even tell me who the surprises are this year, so
No.
I'm going to be equally surprised. But they're always huge. And one year we had Lee Greenwood come in, and one here we had John Rich come in, and it just the Oaks and
Yeah.
Crystal Hill, and I mean, you never know who's going to pop in. So you get worth your money for the ticket, and we like to think it's the kickoff to CMA,
Yeah.
and it's getting bigger every year. We'll probably have to move the venue at some point because we've filled the capacity every year. I believe we're sold out now or close to
Wow.
it. But it's just it's like old school. You get
Hmm.
to love on each other and all for a good cause, and everybody's in a good mood. The egos are checked at the door. It's just a really lovely event. I'm just honored to be part of.
Yeah, and I think it's also pretty interesting that even as one of the hosts, you don't get to know what some of these surprises are.
Well, Scott wants to see the surprise on my face
Oh
too,
yeah.
probably. So I'm like, what? How did you pull that off? But he's really great. He puts a good show together, and for us to be hosting this long, I'm just it's
Hmm.
if it weren't for Devin O'Day, I'd probably be in trouble because there's no way we could make it back and forth and perform and do all that we do. So Devin, right, like she keeps us in the center, and she knows a little bit about everybody. So if I might not know as much about an artist, I'll throw it to her. So she's kind of our third host for the
Oh.
evening. So it works out really nice.
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So, like I said, folks, at the very beginning, Kelly's got a lot going on. She's got a lot coming up. So, from today, with the release of This Too Shall Pass, to a few days from now with Country for a Cause. So, before we wrap up, Kelly, is there anything else that you've got coming up that we should touch on, or can we wait until maybe we get back together again sometime in and around July?
Well, on July the 5th, TG and I are honored to be able to have an exhibit at the Willie Nelson Museum. So
Oh,
they're going to be
wow.
unveiling an exhibit for us and John Barry on the next day. And then July the 4th, if anybody is a Conway or Loretta Lynn fan, I'm going to be at Loretta Lynn's ranch with Twitty and Lynn doing a couple of songs on their show. It's just so much fun out at Hurricane Mills.
Oh,
Going to be
wow.
doing one of the songs from the album, as well as the song I wrote about Conway, Goodbye, Darling,
Hmm.
and signing autographs afterwards and meeting the fans of Conway and Loretta. So that's always a fun time. Check that out. Otherwise, you can check out kellylang.net for any upcoming tours that might be coming in your area. And I go to my social media. Oh my, we are adding something every day
Yeah.
to the You'll be able to see the videos as we release them as we go.
That is fantastic. So thanks for sharing those, bits with it, tidbits about what's coming up in July, because those are definitely two big things. And Twitty and Lynn, they're great. I've met Trey and Taylor. I've had Taylor on the show, and they put on a heck of a show themselves. They
Well,
really do.
they're just so real,
Yeah.
and so humble. And Taylor cracks me up. I go because I love hanging with Taylor, and my family has a history with Conway. My dad was Conway Twitty's road manager for 25 years,
That's
and
right.
so I've known Trey since he was a baby, and since when I was 1 year old, my father started working with Conway up until his passing. So the whole family is very incorporated into my family, and to be able to still be connected is really really cool.
And as you're saying that, Kelly, I'm thinking, and there's sort of this common thread, whether it's, Taylor and Trey, and obviously the background there with Conway, and thinking about all the great people with Country for a Cause. It is just amazing to me how great people seem to gravitate, and real and genuine people seem to gravitate together. And I just think that's a pretty amazing thing too.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think country music it kind of lends to that. I think this particular genre of music has got such heart and such craving for helping people. So yeah, it goes hand in hand for sure.
Absolutely does. Well, Kelly, I know you've got a lot left to go today. Your day is jam-packed, and I really appreciate you taking the time to spend a few minutes with me here, here
Oh,
with me. And I'm
oh,
already looking forward to our next conversation. Good luck, best of luck, actually, with the new single, the album, Country for a Cause, and everything you have coming up. So thank you so much for joining me.
well, thank you for having me, and I hope your listeners like what they hear. And write to me on kellylang.net, and we'd love to hear what your thoughts are towards the process of the album coming out.
Awesome. I'm sure they will. And folks, thank you for watching. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. We'll see you next time.
When the dark times are falling upon you, when living is harder than death, the weight of the world's on your shoulders, hurts too much to breathe, so you hold your breath. When you can't see the light in your tunnel, from all of the tears that you shed, just wait a while, I can promise there's much brighter days ahead. This too shall pass, this too shall pass. Hang on one more day, 'cause bad times never last. This too shall pass, this too shall pass. Might feel like you swallowed broken glass, but this too shall pass. But the same is true of the good times. You gotta cherish each and every day. Love who you love a lot bolder, 'cause these great days will fade away. This too shall pass, this too shall pass. Cherish the days, 'cause good times never last. This too shall pass, this too shall pass. So say say a toast and raise your glass, 'cause this too shall pass. So hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. This too shall pass. This too shall pass.